Enjoy local voices. Enjoy local opinions. All on one local app. Health, sports, local news, politics, and so much more. Podcast DC is the new local app with hundreds of DC area podcasts, featuring some of the DC area's best personalities, pundits, and provocateurs. Earn exciting rewards just for listening and share the podcasts you love instantly. With new programs being added every week, don't hesitate. Download Podcast DC now for free. Available in the App Store or in Google Play. Podcast DC. Listen local.
Black woman. Beautiful, powerful, resilient female of African descent with skin kissed by the sun. Conversation. A talk, especially an informal one, between two or more people in which news and ideas are exchanged. We love being Black women. Black women are ambitious. Black women are confident. Black women are diligent. We are tenacious. We walk out of our houses put together. We are many shades and personalities of fabulous. But we as Black women don't talk about our dilemmas, current events, and what's going on every day that affects us. So we created this podcast as a way to laugh together, cry together, and have an open conversation about life as Black women.
Oh, that's deep. Black Women Conversations.
Hey, Nicole.
Hey, Janine.
How's your week been?
It's been good. I'm trying to think. This week was a short week because, we came back off the holiday and then we had Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and now, of course, we can record on Sundays. So I feel like I skipped Friday and Saturday. I know that there's days in between that. But the point I'm making is the week sped by. And now Sunday, I feel like the weekend has been busier than the week.
Mm-hmm. It really has. It feels like when outside opened, everything, it was like the floodgates open and just everything has to get done like right now.
Yeah, but I'm still doing a whole bunch of stuff virtually, which is sort of annoying, but I understand why we're still taking steps to stay safe because not everyone is vaccinated and the vaccine is not 100%. But it's just a busy weekend. And I feel like I'm going to embark upon a busy week and I feel like I need a day to recuperate. That's all.
So are you going to take off? Are you going to take off
today? I don't have the luxury of taking off. You don't either.
Well, that's true. I always tell myself like my business manager at my office emailed me and was like, hey girl, he didn't say it like that, but I'm paraphrasing. He was like, hey girl, you have PTO that you need to take before the end of June or you will lose it. And I was like, don't even remind me again. I will be taking that PTO before the end of June. And it literally just dawned on me like, I'm going to have the same thing happen this year that happened last year and the year before. I always have to roll over PTO days. And I'm like, but when am I going to take them? Like I take, a couple here and a couple there, but I never actually take my entire vacation. And it's just like, when? Because all it does is require that you do more work when you come back. So what's the point?
You're right. You are right. But this year, I think I have I'm taking a week off in July. I'm already taking a week off in August. And then in October, I'm going to a conference and I'm taking the rest of the week off of the conference. I'm not playing about using these days this year. 2021, I'm not going over with no days to 2022.
But are you taking off for conferences? Because that's work too, Nicole.
No. So in August, I think it's either August or September. I can't remember which one. But I just literally chose a week. Now, there is a meeting at the beginning of that week for a day.
Okay.
But that did not require me to take the other 4 days and the weekend after that off. Okay. I feel like they owe me that. I mean, I have so many vacation days that they say I can't roll over to 2022. I'm not letting now one of them roll over. I'm using them all.
I don't blame you.
Yep, I am. Do I feel any remorse? Nope.
As you should. You earned them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did.
Yeah. And let me tell you something. Somebody told me once, there is no reward for the Burnout Olympics. There is not. There is no big giant trophy at the end. Do not burn yourself out because all they're going to do if something happens to you is send your family some flowers and fill your position on Monday.
That part.
So ain't no sense of us getting all burnt out. How does it feel to have an official 2-year-old?
Girl, I feel like the terrible twos just kicked in. He is like something else. Like now he's throwing little tantrums in the last couple of days.
Do you think that's because he's been around other kids and he saw other kids throw tantrums and now he's trying it with you? Or do you think that it's really him?
Well, I will say that I would hope not. I mean, he wasn't really around kids that were just throwing tantrums like that. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't like he was throwing tantrums while people were around. This is brand new. This brand new Harrison. This Harrison 2.0.
Literally.
I don't know what's gotten into him. And James is like, I mean, what is going on with him. Even when he goes to sleep, he's like super cranky. I don't know. If y'all are listening, you got some parenting tips for me, I'll take them. Listen, people think because I'm a doctor, I'm supposed to know what to do with a toddler. That is not true. I deliver babies. I don't know what to do with a toddler.
Okay. If anyone has parenting tips, please share them with Nicole. But the good ones only. Don't give us no, like, your mama said, put a penny in the baby's ear. And we're not doing all that. Give us some actual, legit, healthy parenting advice so that we can try to make the terrible twos not as terrible for Nicole.
Yeah, please pray for, and keep me in prayer. Keep me lifted up in prayer.
Those of us who know the words of prayer, we shall pray for you.
Thank you. Thank you. Anyway, what's going on with you this week, or what happened last week, and what's going on with you next week?
So my best friend came home from deployment. Super excited. I'm so glad that she made it home safely, because this is now her second deployment in like a couple of years. And let me tell you something. I pretend to be super hard. Like, things just don't bother me. I mean, I don't really pretend. It's kind of my like, try not to let things phase you personality. But it's really nerve-wracking when your best friend in the entire world is like in the middle of a war zone. It was like a weight was lifted off. So I'm super excited for that.
And thank her for her service.
Yes,
that's pretty awesome.
But I pray that she gets out soon. She's done.
You want her to get out of the military?
Yes, she's done her years. She didn't get into she's not a career military person. Like, she joined the military. She is actually an engineer. She drives trains for a living. So she is actually also an air traffic controller. So she joined the military because she wanted to serve her country, not because it was, her career path. And I hope that she's done with her country service. I appreciate her country service, but I don't know how much longer her best friend's heart can take this deployment situation. So I'm going to need her to either stay stateside and stay in the military, or have done her years and kindly bow out.
Well, if she's done her years, then she can bow out. And that's really honorable and admirable. Like, people that just like, you know what? I want to be of service, so I'm going to go to the military and serve. And I get that. I mean, a lot of people in my family have been of service. And I went through this phase initially, like, I need to serve. I need to do some years of service, right? Because growing up near a base, you're like, everybody else is doing their years of service, and what are you doing? But then I grew out of that. Yeah.
You and me both.
Yeah. I thank people that want to serve, because obviously we need people to serve so that we can be protected and we can have our freedoms and liberties that we have. But for me, I'm just too old now. I'm just too old now.
Well, we too old. And Nicole, the first thing I kept thinking of is the way that my mouth is set up, you'd
be scrubbing floors with a toothbrush.
Exactly. I would be doing push-ups and probably running, because my mouth is so crazy. Like, I just don't take well to people barking orders at me. So the military just wasn't the way that Janine's personality is set up. The military just wasn't suited for me.
Yeah, you be scrubbing the floors. Yeah, you would.
Absolutely. Absolutely. They would be like, "Girl, goodbye, please." They would drop me off on deployment and be like, "We don't know what happened to her. We just left her." Like, that would be me.
I know you, so I believe that.
Right.
All right, Janine, what exactly is on the timeline this week?
Oh God. Okay, so this has been on the timeline for a couple of weeks now. It started off on Instagram. It morphed to Twitter, on Facebook. I mean, it's literally everywhere. So long of it is short, a couple of weeks ago, Monique took to the gram talking about respecting yourself with pride. And here's what she had to say.
And as we began to walk through the airport, I saw so many, actually too many to count and too many for me to tap. But I saw so many of our young sisters in head bonnets, scarves, slippers, pajamas, blankets wrapped around them, and this is how they're showing up to the airport. And I've been seeing it, not just at the airport, I've been seeing it at the store, at the mall. I've been seeing sisters showing up with these bonnets and headscarves and their slippers. And the question that I'm having to you, my sweet babies, when did we lose pride in representing ourselves? When did we step away of, let me make sure I'm presentable when I leave my home? Let me make sure I'm representing the family I created, so that if I'm out in the street, I look like I have pride in myself. And I'm not saying no full face of makeup. I'm not saying no full front lace frontal. I'm not saying none of that. All I'm saying is, could you please comb your hair? And if you don't want to comb your hair, they got enough out here now, baby, where you can style yourself up and look like you have pride. I'm not saying you don't have pride, But the representation that you're showing, someone would have to ask you to know that you had it. So my sweet babies, for the ones that do call me auntie, I love you for real. Even the ones that don't, I love y'all too. But the babies that say auntie to me, please listen to auntie. Always have pride in your representation of you. It's not to get a man. It is just your representation of you, my sweet babies. So I'm just giving y'all a warning. If I see you in the streets, in the airport, in the Walmart, and you got a bonnet on, and you got slippers on, and you looking like, what the f***? Nikki gonna tap you and say, hey, baby girl, show you what you worth. Show you what you deserve. So all of those posts that you see celebrities putting out there saying, hey, queen, hey, queen, hey, queen, well, can we start putting it into action? So I'm asking our wiser sisters, when we see our little babies out there looking like they just don't care, and I'm not saying y'all don't, it looks like it. Can we just tap them and say, baby girl, you deserve more than what you're showing. Represent you with pride, my babies. And that may be a part of us helping our community. Because if you look like you don't give a damn, how you gonna be treated? So, when I say, hey, queen, I can only say it to the sisters that it belongs to. Because a lot of us are still in queen training. So if you're in queen training, stop being fearful of taking your position. And queens don't walk around with bonnets and headscarves and slippers and pajamas. That's for the house. When you go outside, represent you, baby, like you are worthy and you deserve the title of Hey Queen. Nikki love y'all for real. And I ain't never gonna BS you. Stop wearing them damn bonnets and headscarves looking like don't nobody give a damn about you, nor do you give a damn about yourself. Because you beautiful. So represent it. I love y'all for real, my babies.
Okay, so the internet was all up in arms, Nicole. Some people were agreeing with Auntie Monique, while others say that she can save it because this is just respectability politics. I live in my hypocrisy, as I normally do, and I am going to tell you that I personally am a firm believer that you should walk out of your house dressed for the occasion. Whatever it is that you plan on doing, that's what you need to dress for. And for me personally, that does not include going out the house with a bonnet, slippers, or my pajamas. But that's just for me. Much like last week's episode with the proposals, I'm not going to walk out of the house with a bonnet and pajamas and my slippers. However, I'm not going to tell anybody what they should walk out of the house with and what they shouldn't. So I feel like people should be allowed to dress the way they please, right? But that dress needs to be within reason and within the standards of the establishment that they plan on patronizing. This whole entire conversation is rooted in respectability politics, which is pretty much upheld by white supremacy. So the idea is that we're supposed to dress, meaning we as Black people, specifically Black women, are supposed to dress a certain way, look a certain way, speak a certain way, and present ourselves in a certain manner so that we're worthy of being respected by the majority. For centuries, we have been dressing the way that they want us to dress or looking the way that they want us to look so that we can be respectable. And we've been disrespected at every single turn. One of the people on Twitter said something that made me think about this. Martin Luther King was nonviolent and he dressed in suits and they still killed him. So really this whole idea of respectability politics doesn't really work because no matter what we appear like and how much we assimilate, they still annihilate us. So is it really worth it? So for me, this conversation, it's similar to the conversation about how Black people interact with the police, right? So they tell us, be kind, don't be combative, answer their questions, put our hands, at 10 and 2. We follow the manual about how we are supposed to interact with police. And what good has that done us? So in my mind, no matter what we present ourselves like, no matter how we show up, whether our hair is straight and acceptable, or it's considered nappy, or we have a bonnet on our head, or we have a head wrap, no matter how we present ourselves, the way that the majority interacts with us is basically a crapshoot. So I say, do what you want. Do what makes you feel comfortable. Do what makes you have pride in yourself. And if it means that you wear a bonnet and your pajamas and slippers outside, then so be it. Janine is not going to do that. But if that's what makes you comfortable and that's how you feel your best self it should be presented in the world, then go for it. What do you think, Nicole?
I am going to nicely and politely and kindly disagree with you because one, we are taught how to interact with the police in order for us not to get killed, and we're still getting killed. Well, let's be real. The majority of people that do know how to behave in front of the police did not get killed. But if they had not behaved in front of the police, they may have been killed. So our numbers could be a lot higher than they are. Is it right that we have to learn how to behave in front of the police? No, it's absolutely horrendous. But we have to do what we have to do to survive. So will I be teaching my child to be respectable, be kind, to not be aggressive in front of the police, to not ask too many questions back, to make sure he keeps his hands where the police officers can see them, to make sure he doesn't speed at all, to try to follow all traffic, to not have any traffic light violations so he won't get pulled over, to make sure he's not playing loud music, to make sure he doesn't have extra dark tint, to make sure he doesn't have too big rims on his car? Absolutely. I'm going to do all those things. Why? Because I want to make sure my child comes home at night. Okay. Is it bad that we have to do that? Yeah, it's awful, right? It's awful. But we can't snap our fingers and change people's perspectives of us. That is something that is going to take time to overcome. But in the meantime, instead of being rebellious and saying, I'm going to do what I need to do, and I'm going to do these things, knowing that it can cause attention to be drawn to me, that would be sort of like suicide. So I'm going to teach my child to follow those norms so that he can survive. Now, to me, the issue of the bonnet and the issue of the police are two different things. Because for me, the wearing of bonnets and pajamas and all this stuff like that, the reason I don't agree that people should be wearing them in public is not because of the majority of accepting it. It's about you valuing yourself, okay? It has nothing to do with what the majority does. Because if a Caucasian woman walks outside with pajamas on and slippers, we're going to look at her crazy too. This is not just Black people. This is people in general, like wearing like random stuff that's supposed to be worn inside the house outside. This is about self-respect. This has nothing to do with the majority and how they look at you, because you're right. People do have stereotypes of Black people. So if they do see you in your head bonnet and stuff, it's not going to surprise them. It's not going to make them give you a Monique statement. It's a, yeah, that's what we expect from them statement. So this is not about the majority. This is about you and how you present yourself and how you want to be portrayed. Now, if you're going outside to take out the trash, you're at your house. I can understand you stepping your foot outside the door at your own house to do that. Okay. I can see that. You want to work out and wrap your hair up while you work out. It's great. You're sweating. That's the occasion, right? You want to try to keep your stuff together. You go home, take a shower, get dressed, put yourself together. I am a big fan of when you walk out of that house, you need to look like something for yourself so that no one, whether they're Black, white, yellow, green, can have anything to say about you not being presentable. That's my opinion.
I personally believe the same thing. I'm not going to walk out of the house look crazy. I'm not going to walk out of the house in a bonnet. There's so many options for us now that are not head wraps for us to go to sleep. You can put on a hat. You can wrap your hair. I mean, they have almost ready-made wraps for you to put on your head right now that are like $5.99 on Amazon. There are things that you can do to make it known that you actually did something for you to get out of the house. Like you got ready. You didn't just roll out of bed and show up in the world, right? So there are things that you can do so you don't have to wear a bonnet out the house. But that's for me, right? I don't think that I care. Like, yeah, I notice it when people walk around the airport with a bonnet and slippers on, but I'm not about to tap someone on the shoulder, as Monique said, and tell them like, hey girl, you should feel better about yourself, because I don't know that that's not their best, right? Like I'm not in their pockets. I'm not in their closet. I'm not in their house. I don't know what that hair looks like underneath. I don't know if they have shoes. I don't know if they're traveling to their loved one's funeral. I don't know what they're doing. I'm not about to tap someone on the shoulder and say, hey, you should have a little bit more respect for yourself. That's not my business. And I think that one of the things that bothers me about this comment with Monique is that we have this idea that we should project our feelings in the way that we want to present ourselves in the world onto other people. And that's not fair. That's no different than what the white people do to us. Look, wear what you want. Janine is not going to come to the airport in flannel pajama pants or a bathing suit, but I guess you're allowed to wear, they're in a dress code for the airport. So wear what you feel like wearing.
No, you can absolutely wear what you want to wear. And I don't think Monique tapped anybody on the shoulder. She said it was too many to tap on the shoulder. Even if she wanted to tap them on the shoulder, too many. Mm-hmm. So absolutely, people can wear whatever they want to wear until they're in violation of somebody's dress code. Absolutely. Correct. And even then, you can just choose not to go to that place. You can't get mad when they tell you can't come in because you do have on a bathing suit or because you don't have on enough covering. So yeah, you can absolutely wear what you want to wear. But my opinion still stands that I think that all people, not just black and brown people need to be presentable. And that doesn't mean that you need to come out with a dress or a suit or anything like that. But there are places to wear these things. House shoes are meant for the house. I cannot stand when somebody goes outside with their house shoes on, goes to the store, brings all kind of germs back into your house.
Amen.
Like that's just like nasty on a lot of levels because you're wearing outside shoes like around your house. Some people even put their feet on their sofa with their house shoes on. That's fine if they're just in your house. But if you're going to go and walk around outside with these house shoes on and you're going to wear them as if they're outdoor shoes when they're really indoor shoes, well, you're tracking germs. Okay, I said it. You're tracking germs. And you can wear leisure wear. I mean, tights can cost you a couple of bucks now. You can get those from the hair store. You can put on a t-shirt with that. You can put your hair in a bun. If you have natural hair, you don't feel like fiddling with it, you can wrap the scarf around the front and tuck the scarf in. Like you can make your hair be presentable without having to straighten it or blow dry it or do anything elaborate with it. It's just a matter of like a bonnet though. Like maybe back in the day, and I'm sure we'll go over this and I learned something new. Like back in the day, that might have been acceptable. We might have had to wear that because we were, inferior, but we don't have to wear that now. I mean, these bonnets and covering your hair and people like, oh, I keep my bonnet on because I don't want my hair to get messed up. Girl, please, like, where are you? Just stay in the house then.
Well, no, because I've literally pin curled my entire head.
Pin curl and a bonnet?
And wanted to unpin curl it and wrapped my head up in the head. And you've seen me wear a head wrap before and wrap my head up.
A head wrap and a bonnet are two different things. A head wrap is a style. That's like, oh, I'm doing my hair. I'm going to put my makeup on and put my head wrap on and I'm going to be fly today because I'm just going to have a different look. That's not a bonnet. I'm talking about those like, satin bonnet with the elastic around the edges. That one that y'all not washing every week. That way it might have the gel stains on it. That one, don't wear that outside.
And now, they have those big giant bonnets. So they kind of like hang down. I hate them, right? Here's the thing, to each their own. If you feel comfortable coming out of the house with your gel stained bonnet, go for it.
But don't be mad when you have somebody with a platform that says, can we have a little bit more pride in ourselves and not wear PJs and pajamas and house shoes outside? She said what she said, and I agree with her.
Look, here's the thing. I agree with the fact that we should have pride in ourselves. But again, as I said, people have different levels of pride. Your pride and my pride are very different pride than someone who's about to wear a bonnet and going to the store. You and I will not allow ourselves to do that, right? It's just like your conviction. Everybody ain't convicted about the same thing. I'm not going to look at you crazy, and I'm not about to tap you on the shoulder like Monique said, because Monique said, well, if you see a young girl, a young queen, and you should tap her on the shoulder. I'm not doing that because I don't know that person's situation.
Yeah, I would agree. We don't need to tap anybody on the shoulder. It is what it is. If you don't want to represent yourself, that's you. But you should. I mean, we need to stop wearing the head bonnets. Then you get mad when you're labeled as the angry black woman, or, we get called ghetto and what have you by our own race and other races. Like, listen, I know that people are like, oh, we're dressing for the Caucasian people and, this is because it's a social norm. Now, you got to admit, even black people be the first person to say she looks ghetto. We the first.
Right.
Before
You're
Caucasian
right.
people say that. She looks ghetto. She's not together. It's not the white people saying that. They don't care.
Because they're not looking at you.
Right. It's us.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I get it. And maybe the conversation needs to be, maybe we need to give ourselves a little bit more lenience, right? Maybe it's that. Again, I don't see how someone else wearing a bonnet or sleep pants or house shoes that came from their house to the airport to back to their house is going to affect me. So I don't think that I should have an opinion about it. But again, if it was you, Nicole, and you came and showed up at the airport with a bonnet on, knowing you, I would say, hey, Nicole, what's going on? Why you got
what is going on? Why do you got the bonnet on?
Because I know you and I know what kind of standards you live by. But somebody else, girl, if you want to wear a bonnet and walk around with your house slippers on and be popping your gum and rolling your neck, feel free.
Well, I'm going to tell everybody to raise your standards then, because we should all have some type of standards for ourselves. Let's say you go to the store, right, with your bonnet, because if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready.
Amen.
So you got your bonnet on, your house shoes, and you going to the store because you're like, I just need to make these groceries. I got a long day. I got these things to do. I got an interview. I got this. I got that. Right. Mm-hmm. You going through there all, laissez-faire. And the next day when you walk into your interview, it's the person that was in the line behind you who's interviewing you, who's seeing you with your head bonnet on and your PJ pants and your slippers. Right. Mm-hmm. Now that leads to an awkward conversation. It's like, is this person going to represent me when I'm not around like this? When we send them out on business trips, are they going to be presentable? Or are they going to go to the store around the corner and see the colleagues that are going to be in the conference the next day in their bonnet? I'm just saying.
And while I don't think that judgment is appropriate for a hiring official, it's very real.
It is super real.
I'm very well aware that it's real.
All right. If y'all want to walk around looking busted with your bonnets on and your PJs and your, y'all go ahead. But don't come nowhere with me. When we have this, that's deep little tour, when we go out,
we won't have a dress code.
Don't come to the conference with your bonnet on. We're going to talk about you live. All right.
We're going to ask you why you have your bonnet on.
We're going to ask. You ready to talk through some scenarios?
Absolutely.
These letters from our listeners. All right. So this loyal listener says, Nicole and Janine, I'm not sure how to take this. My 6-year-old daughter told me she had to remove her bonnet at school. She was embarrassed and came home crying. Let me explain further. On the last day of school, my daughter's class had a pizza and PJs party to celebrate the end of the year. I got her dressed in her pink and purple pajamas. Unknowingly, my daughter packed her house shoes and bonnet and teddy bear with her in her book bag. When she arrived at school, she said the other kids had their hair in pigtails, hair wrapped. One girl even had an eye mask on, but she wore it on her forehead. So my daughter pulled out her bonnet and put it over her braids so that she can look like she was going to bed. She said after a few minutes, her teacher asked her to take it off, saying that it was inappropriate to wear in class. My daughter removed it, but was obviously confused. Ladies, I know public bonnets are inappropriate, but this is a bit much. How can I educate my daughter about why bonnets shouldn't be worn in public, but also tell her why she was not wrong for wearing it that day?
Okay, so first of all, I think the bigger issue is that you have a teacher that you need to address first. That's number one. Because if it is a pajama and what is it, pizza and PJs party is what it said?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
If it's a pizza and PJs party, if part of what I sleep in is a bonnet, then that's my pajamas. And why is my bonnet any different than the girl's eye mask? Like, that is a much bigger issue. That is past the respectability politics and all the way into racism, in my perspective. Because the eye mask is an accessory for you to use while you're asleep, as is the bonnet is an accessory to use while you're asleep. The little girl didn't come to school with the bonnet on. She said in the letter that she saw the little girl with the eye mask on. So she went and got her bonnet and put her bonnet on, right? Address the teacher, because I don't think that your daughter did anything wrong. And I think that she probably already understands that it's not appropriate to wear bonnets outside because she probably doesn't see you wearing a bonnet outside. That's number one. And number two, she didn't wear the bonnet to school. She had the bonnet in her backpack and then took the bonnet out of her backpack when she saw the other girl with the eye mask. So she was already unsure as to how the bonnet was going to be received. But when she saw the eye mask, she thought that it was appropriate. So she put it on. I don't think you need to address your daughter with this, right? I think that you need to reassure her that she didn't do anything wrong. But I don't think that you need to remind her that bonnets don't need to be worn outside because she already has grasped that concept. I think the bigger issue is trying to educate the educator that made the decision to ask your daughter to take the bonnet off. That's just my opinion. I think this is a conversation that needs to be had between two adults. I think that you reassure your daughter and tell her nothing is wrong and that sometimes adults make mistakes when they make split-second decisions, and this was one of those times. I think that the teacher needs to apologize to your daughter, and I think that we go on from there. I think that this is a lesson for the teacher, not for your daughter. What do you think, Nicole?
Oh, I completely agree. this poor 6-year-old girl who's probably like, what did I do wrong? I pulled my bonnet out. And to your point, Janine, it's not like she wore it in public. She didn't. She got to the PJ's party and said, well, everybody else has their hair wrapped up, pinned up, they're in pigtails, they got their eye mask on. Okay, well, let me pull out my house shoes and my bonnet because now this is the appropriate time. So I would definitely reassure your daughter that she did absolutely nothing. And I am not one to play angry Black woman. And I believe that we have to really choose our words very selectively when we are talking to the majority. And I don't know if this teacher is a Black teacher or a Hispanic teacher or a Caucasian one. I don't know because it didn't say it in the letter. Mm-hmm. But we're assuming that she is someone that does not understand Black women and Black hair, right? Because otherwise she hopefully would not have ridiculed this child for pulling out their bonnet. Or maybe she could be like, hey, I want you to show respect for yourself and not put the bonnet on. Maybe she is a Black woman. But regardless, I would very nice and politely make that woman feel like she was a itty bitty 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 pea. And I would demand that she apologize to my child so that my child could understand that she didn't do anything wrong. And I would educate her about bonnets. And I would also tell her, this is how we go to sleep. You did not put any restrictions on what people can wear. They're 6-year-olds. It's not like they're going to come in lingerie anyway or anything like that. But you didn't put any specifications on it. Did you say wear your PJs, but make sure you have on tennis shoes? I don't hear that. Did you say wear your hair neatly still? I don't hear that. You did not put any restrictions on or guidelines on the dress code. So if somebody is doing something that is harmless, that's not offensive, because a bonnet is not offensive for anybody, then why are you regulating just that one child? Now, if we're missing information and she went around and told people, hey, you can't wear your eye mask. Hey, you can't wear slippers. Hey, you can't wear this. And so she also said you can't wear the bonnet. I understand that. Like if universally they're only supposed to have on PJs, then I can understand why you told her to take the bonnet out, because that wouldn't be singling her out. But if you allowed everybody else to keep their accessories on, their bedtime accessories on, and my child had to take her bedtime accessory off, then we have a big problem. We have a problem, and this screams racism, especially if she is of the majority.
I agree. And like you said, I just made the assumption that somebody that would tell a 6-year-old to take her bonnet off at a pajama party is probably of the majority, but you might be right. Maybe she's just an older African-American woman and she's like, hey, young girl, we don't want you to represent yourself like that. It could be. But again, that's not her place.
Not at a pajama party. It's definitely not her place.
It's not her place. So again, I feel like even if she is an older Black woman or just a Black woman or Hispanic, whatever she is, you need to address the teacher, because if she singled your child out, the teacher needs to be addressed. That's all I'm saying. Absolutely.
If y'all
she's 6. It's a bonnet. Like, are we really complaining about a 6-year-old's bonnet? Yeah. Like, come on now.
See, I dread when Harrison goes to school. Like, I am going to be that. I'm that parent. I'm coming up there. I'm leaving work to come up there.
Absolutely.
Because we're gonna have a big problem. It gives me palpitation even thinking about the things that children go through in school, and not just from their peers, from teachers, from ignorant teachers as well. So that just, oh my God, it makes me nervous, child.
It really does. I'm sorry for you, because some of these teachers these days, I'm like, whatever opinions you have, you need to leave them outside of the doors of the school.
Save them, please. Thank you.
Absolutely. Oh, Jesus.
All right, Janine, what's your letter say?
Okay, so my letter says, Dear Nicole and Janine, I saw you post about Monique's comments on Facebook and wanted to write in. I know I'm not a Black woman, but I would really appreciate your response. If you don't read this on the podcast, please email me your thoughts if you can. It's simple. I come from a long line of beautiful Black women. As you all say, they walk out of their houses put together. I was taught that you should always present yourself in a manner that makes you feel respectable. And you should always be presentable no matter where you're going. And the last thing is always wear clean underwear just in case. The problem that I'm having is my wife just does not care. She will go to the store in anything. Slippers, bonnet, robe, my sweatpants, literally anything. My wife is beautiful, and she has a closet full of clothes, including her own sets of sweatpants and leggings, but she continues to go out looking like I don't care about her. Ladies, how can I encourage my wife to take more pride in her appearance?
So, I wonder how long these people have been married. I wonder, because once you get married, I wonder how long it took me to be that comfortable just to tell my husband, what you got on? I mean, I want to say it took me maybe 2-3 years
Did
to
it?
really, I don't know if it even took that long.
I was
because,
about to say, Nicole.
I mean, by the time you're married to somebody, that's why I feel like communication is really key when you're dating. You should put yourself forward, but don't put this like fake person forward when you're dating, right? Because then you get in a situation when you feel like you can't communicate with your spouse because you've never communicated in that manner. And now you got something to say and you can't say it because your spouse don't know that person. Your spouse thinks everything is good and you're fine with the way they're dressing. And I'm sure that your wife was probably doing that when y'all were dating and you didn't say anything, right? Why? Because you didn't want anybody to look at her when you were dating, right? Now she's the wife, she's the prize, and you're like, oh, I need you to look like you something. Hopefully that's not the double standard that you're preaching, but I have a feeling that your wife probably did this when y'all were dating, okay? And you didn't say anything then because you didn't want to have people looking at her, or you didn't want to say the wrong thing because you were afraid you're going to push them away. I mean, people have different reasons why they put their fake self forward. Don't you hate the fake self?
I hate it.
I hate that fake self. So how do you tell your wife? You say, listen, babe, I'm going to need you not to wear pajamas in public. Like, what if you run into one of my colleagues or coworkers? Like, we talk about women like that all the time. I don't want you to be the top of the conversation because you look so good. You gotta give a compliment. Like, when you give some bad stuff, you gonna have to, smooth that over with a compliment, okay? Because you don't want her to think that you're judging her, okay? But you tell her, you have so many clothes, you look so good. Why do you go out with pajamas on? Because, my coworkers and I were talking about their wives doing that. And I just thought, my wife is beautiful. She doesn't need to wear pajamas. She would never wear pajamas. Put the standard back on her. That's what I would.
So Nicole, is it that he knew that she was dressing like that before they got married? Or is it that she put her breast representative forward and now that she's comfortable married and not trying to be out here catching a husband, that she went from dressing to the nines? Because he said she has a closet full of clothes, right? So she went from dressing to the nines to like, she fell into the pandemic funk and is walking around looking crazy.
Well, I would think that if that were the case and she was putting the fake self forward and dressing to the nines and now she's not, I would think that he would probably be more comfortable saying, are you feeling okay? Because I'm not used to you dressing like this.
You think that?
Yeah. If all of a sudden, for example, James wears ties all the time, bow ties all the time. He doesn't like regular ties. He wears bow ties. And I mean, like every day, it doesn't matter if he's going to teach. It doesn't matter if he's on a Zoom. Like if he puts some clothes on, he wears a bow tie. I can count on my hand how many pairs of jeans he owns. He wears slacks and he wears button-up shirts. He wears a long sleeve button-up shirt. He hardly ever wears short sleeve button-up shirts, even in the summertime. And if he's going to have a short sleeve shirt on, it's going to be like a polo type shirt. Like that is how he dresses. So if he changes the way he dresses, something's going on, right? Because I'm like, well, you're not wearing a bow tie today? Oh, I didn't. I couldn't find one, or I didn't have any clean. Like there's always some type of excuse as to why, because I know he prefers to wear bow ties. And when he doesn't wear one, I'm like, what's going on?
What's going on?
Right. Or if he has on jeans, even when he's like wearing like lounge wear, he has on like sweatpants and a t-shirt. He hardly ever wears jeans. So he has on jeans. I'm like, what's going on? You got on jeans today? And he'll tell me why. So I would say, kindly, nicely say, hey, I'm wearing a lot of pajamas outside the house. You've never done that before. Everything okay? Watch the habits of your spouse. Pay attention.
Okay, but let me tell you something that stuck out. It says she continues to go out of the house looking like, quote unquote, I don't care about her. So is he concerned about what she's looking like and how she's feeling, or how she's representing him?
So both, right? Because most people say if you want to know how much money a man has, look at their wife, right? The wife is the prize. So if you are taken care of by your husband, you usually look like something. Just saying. Like your hair is going to be done. Your nails are going to be done. Like that is, and I'm not saying that's a must, but in the Southern society, you are going to look at a man's wife to figure out, like, is he really about business, or he got this raggedy chick over here that's really not taken care of. He's not handling business at home. And unfortunately, it is a stereotype. If your wife is looking crazy, then it reflects bad on your husband. Likewise, if he's looking crazy, it's reflecting bad on the wife.
Say that louder for the bag.
But I'm serious, right? You're representing each other. So if one looks raggedy, it makes the other one look bad, and vice versa.
Let me tell you something. Ken and I had this conversation one time. First of all, when you were asking, I wonder how long they have been married. From day one of Ken and I being married, if there was something that I don't like about his appearance, I vocalize it right then in that moment. I'm not going to embarrass him, obviously. Like, I'm not going to do it in public. But, like, sometimes I'll be like, well, babe, I think maybe it's time to shave. You know?
That part.
Like,
I know I've said it.
Like, babe, I noticed that you're getting a little scruffy. Like, time to shave. They going to be like, why did your wife let you come out the house looking like that?
Yep.
The same thing with men and their, like, grooming, right? It's like, if your nails are dirty or there's hair growing out your ears or your nose, first thing that women say to each other is, why she let her husband come out the house with that hair? She saw that growing out to her husband's nose. She should have fixed that before he came out the house. Let me tell you, one of the worst things that Ken hates is if I take the tweezer to his face. But let me tell you, if there's an eyebrow hair that's wiry and hanging out like you're a 90-year-old man that don't nobody care about and they left them in the nursing home and forgot about them, that tweezer's coming to your face, sir. Just saying. It's about how you represent. The man's name is Ron, who sent us this letter, right? So Ron, tell your wife, I like it when you do da-da-da. I like it when you wear this. I like it when you wear this. If you tell them that, more likely that your wife will go along with what it is that you want.
Yeah, but you got to inquire, because some women would take that as, he's trying to control me, right? He's trying to dress me, trying to control me. So you have to put it in such a way that makes her think that you are more concerned as opposed to demanding.
I agree. Say it in love. Buy her some new clothes.
Yeah. All right, Janine. So what did you learn new this week?
Okay, so I did some research on where bonnets even came from. How did we start wearing these stupid things on our head anyway, right? I get it. It's supposed to protect our hair. I understand, I hear, but I want to know where we got it from, right? So bonnets can be dated back to the 17th century, and they were worn actually by high society women in mainstream culture. They were worn to keep the hair tight and, keep dust out of the hair and flour out of the hair, to remind women of their subordinate position as described in the Bible. So when y'all rocking these bonnets outside, remember all of that before you put the bonnet on your head, okay? I'm just saying.
So I like that tidbit of information. I did learn that too. I did learn that too about the 17th century in the US. Absolutely. But I also learned that even before that, in 1505, the bonnets originated in Scotland.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So before they came to the US, the Scottish were wearing them.
Yeah.
And the last check, there ain't a lot of Scottish people that look like us. That's just all I'm saying.
No. So from Scotland. And I also did come across a whole bunch of companies that have these stylish bonnets. So I'm like, if you have a bonnet that is super stylish, like that's on a whole different level, right?
Okay.
So I can see people rocking a stylish bonnet. And there's a lot of like African print companies that do bonnets and head wraps and things like that that are completely socially acceptable, right? Mm-hmm. Because they are stylish and they go with the attire. So it's like having a whole outfit. You got your bonnet or your head wrap on that match your dress. And so you can buy those. So if you would like to wear a socially acceptable bonnet, you can do that.
Okay.
But we're talking about these satin bonnets that y'all have on. That's what we're talking about though.
Yeah, put them up. Y'all, here's the thing. Let's be honest about this bonnet. We can barely keep the bonnet head when we lay down to go to sleep. My bonnet don't like me at nighttime. So I know it's not going to like me during the day.
I know.
Just saying.
All right. For our motivational moment for the day, this is my favorite quote. This is really my favorite quote. And so I was very happy to put it into the episode today. And it is by Eleanor D. Roosevelt. And it says, no one can make you feel inferior without your consent. So whether you wear your natural hair, a fancy head bonnet, a hat, or a head wrap, make sure you step outside with your head lifted high and know that you are the prize. Until we meet again.
Pray, work, slay.
And show off your melanated excellence.
Bye.
Oh, That's Deep, Black Women Conversations is produced by Nicole Lee Plenty and Janine Brunson Johnson. Executive producer, Ken Johnson. Get the Oh, That's Deep, Black Women Conversation podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, or where you get your podcasts. Please subscribe and rate us. You can follow Oh, That's Deep, Black Women Conversations on IG at Oh, That's Deep, BWC. Oh, That's Deep, Black Women Conversations is a Mean Old Lion Media production.